Matt Ryan, 21 of 24, 286 yards, 3 touchdowns. Still a
It's
dude.
better than this. Guys being dudes.
Matt Ryan,
That's a dude.
Heisman Trophy, Bronco Nagurski Award, Ultimate Dude.
Raji on my left, Herzlich on my right. 2 dudes. O-line you, bunch of dudes. Dudes to the right, dudes to the left, stuck in the middle with you.
WZBC, the Boston College Radio Network, the voice of the Eagles.
Hello and welcome to another Wednesday night edition of Two Dudes Sports. I'm Quinn Kelly here with my co-host TJ Hartnett, and we are ready to get into another week of happenings in the sports world. Hopefully this week, or potentially this week, will be sans BC football. We'll give you a little bit of an update on the World Series. Game 1 in the books last night, Game 2 starting up in T-minus 6 minutes. And we'll talk a little bit of NFL, maybe college football other than On the Heights.
That sounds fantastic. Yeah, we're probably going to avoid BC football this week because it's becoming a repetitive type of theme, and we want to give you something different, you know. Sum it up, if you really wanted to tune in for BC football, I really apologize. For 1 minute quickly, Louisville, defense shined as bright as possible. Offense didn't. Brutal, disgusting. There's really no other way to put it. They're in a very, very bad place right now. I know they're very young, all that stuff. We don't need to go into rants, but basically, we're not good enough right now. We're not going anywhere this year. Hopefully, we pull off an upset against the team going forward this year, you know, whether it be Notre Dame, whether it just be, honestly, any team's an upset at this point. We've got a really good ACC slate ahead of us.
When
so,
you lose 3-0 to Wake Forest, you've pretty much
straight up, it's not really going anywhere. So, not going well. John Fadul, I hope he starts this week. It'd be great to see him.
So what is, this is for me, we're going to learn live on air, what is the status of Jeff Smith?
So Jeff Smith is day-to-day. He did not practice today with concussion-like symptoms. So he's got a head injury.
Okay, that's
my guess is it's going to be day-to-day, head-to-head. It's going to be day-to-day. We're going to see how he does. Honestly, at this point, what is the need to play Jeff Smith? I really don't see any going into Virginia Tech.
Just reps.
It's reps, but if he's not 100%, what's the point? You know?
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're not playing for anything.
No, 100, yeah, and that's where. You'll see Troy Flutie get some snaps, and people are saying it. John Fadul, he's been a rock star apparently on the practice squad. He is a walk-on from Choked Academy.
Wellesley.
He's from Wellesley. Only good things. John Fadul. I'd love to see him play. Actually, at this point,
I would.
He could. Doug Flutie-esque. I don't know. Yeah. Well, we'll see. Anyway, let's jump right into it. I want to talk some baseball. I'm a big baseball guy, as everyone knows, and it's World Series time. So last night was absolutely insane.
Oh my God.
World Series baseball at its finest. I'll be straight up. I did not stay up for the entire thing.
My God, TJ, I stayed up for the entire thing.
I made it to the 11th and then cut it just because.
Fan,
I'm not a Mets fan, but I am a huge baseball fan, so I did appreciate the game in all of its entirety, looking back on it. But at that moment, I just couldn't stay up. I
was all wired on Sour Patch Kids trying to bang
justified.
out a midterm.
That's justified then. See, it makes sense.
It wasn't that late. It was only on until like 1 o'clock.
Yeah, I know. That's so
Oh, TJ.
Yeah, I'm not the night owl. So I don't really stay up that late. Regardless, we don't need to talk about my life. I didn't stay up for the whole thing, but
we are interested.
Yeah. To summarize, I mean, just a crazy game from start to finish. How about Escobar starting off the game? First pitch of the game off Harvey. Line drive shot, fly ball to center. Should have been caught by Cespedes. Conforto pulls up, Cespedes being the center fielder. Now, not a conventional center fielder. He usually plays left, but Conforto got the start over Lagares. Lagares actually came into the game later, but Cespedes was in center field for that play. Out of nowhere, ball just goes off his leg, jumped about 50 feet to his left, and suddenly Escobar was off to the races, scores. I mean, have you ever seen a World Series start like that?
No. I mean, never. I mean, I've only been around for so many World Series, but that was definitely an unconventional start to any baseball game.
I'm pretty sure the last time someone scored on the first pitch, it wasn't the first pitch of a game, technically, because the Mets got up first, but you wouldn't. I'd say, let me pose this as a question, but it's not something that people usually know. I just know because I'm a Yankee fan. Derek Jeter in the 2000 World Series, the Subway Series. May not be the last time. The last time I remember hit a home run on the first at-bat of the game. It may have been the first pitch. I think it was the first pitch. He went yachts on the first pitch of the game at Shea Stadium. So
They pulled up something like that.
Yeah, so
And again,
pretty crazy. Absolute insanity start for the game. Then Harvey started to settle down. Home runs back and forth. Darno got one. Granderson got one. They were just going back and forth throughout the game. Then, when it really starts getting interesting, well, I mean, a lot of subplots in the entirety of the game. How about Volquez going through a family tragedy and not knowing about it?
Yeah, I don't like that.
We can dive into that, absolutely. I mean, that's
I was
one
uncomfortable hearing that.
Yeah, that's something that, I mean, it's obviously...
And apparently the choice came down from his wife.
Yeah.
So to fill in, Edison Volquez's father passed away hours before the game started.
Yeah.
And it was later confirmed. There was Twitter rumors flying around all day long, all game long, that either he didn't know, that was first reported that he was out there pitching and had no knowledge of his father's death, and then it started circulating that wasn't true, that it was supposed that he did have some knowledge, and then in game, ESPN made a report that his wife had made the decision to not inform him that his father had passed away. So, I mean, to me, when I first heard it, I was like, that's terrible.
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
terrible.
that's your initial,
Sports
aside.
It never would come before that.
Yeah.
And then, I hear the report come out, okay, well, maybe that's not true. He does know. I was more comfortable. Then when it comes out more affirmatively that he didn't know and his wife made the decision, how do you go home and get into bed with her tonight? How I would be irate. I can't even imagine.
We all know the reasoning behind it. It is such a tough situation. Obviously, if it's in his head and he doesn't pitch well, maybe he's mad that he gets. And you know what? That's. I see the two sides of it. Is it I don't know how to word it. You don't want to say something wrong. It's just a very touchy subject that there really is no right way. Obviously, the moralistic, the truth way is straight up. You tell him and see where it goes. But you don't know his reaction that he has. You don't know. Obviously, we don't know the relationship between him and his father. I mean, it's his father regardless. But there's so many different ways that this could have been handled, and the one way it can be scrutinized, it could have been, honestly, I don't think he's at the point where he's mad at someone that nobody told him. But, I mean, having rumors swirl throughout the game and, I doubt anybody in the dugout knew about these rumors.
You don't think so?
I was thinking about that, too, because this relates, actually, to the team they were playing, the Wilmer Flores, the whole deal.
Yeah.
You remember that? So, back in...
They definitely knew. I mean, okay... For if nothing else, how does some guy in the batters? How do you know that some guy in the batters, in the on-deck circle, not hear some guy in the front row checking his phone at the game? Go, oh wow, did you hear Edison Volquez's dad died?
Yeah.
Supposedly he doesn't know.
That's the problem. Getting it leaked is just the worst thing.
It's just the age we live in. There's no way that It's
very unfortunate. And like we said, the same thing happened with Wilmer Flores. Obviously not a death, but the fact that he was traded and nobody informed him, and he's still out there, and players are saying things, and they're in the on-deck circle, and someone's like, you traded Wilmer, why is he still in the game? To I don't know, whoever, Lucas Duda, and he's like, Terry Collins, what the heck's going on? Why is Wilmer in this game? Oh, I didn't know he was traded. And, I mean, the poor kid's out there crying because he thinks he's gone, and, this is, a death sentence, pretty much, of him, a walk of shame type thing. Honestly, It's the craziest thing. And that ended up that he wasn't traded and so on and so forth, but I mean, I can't even imagine being Volquez. It's one of the worst things that I've heard.
No.
Terrible timing, and just,
really, it's true.
Not there's ever a good timing, but crazy. And another thing, Fox drops their entire cable system in the middle of the game, and just randomly is like, sorry about this, and they stopped the game, the actual game, which I've never heard before. No. I mean, it makes sense. Obviously, most of your revenue is coming through TV, right. So whoa. If this game isn't showing, we can't really miss anything. I think they missed, maybe a pitch or two or an at-bat, but nothing important. But, I mean, how crazy is that? That the biggest scale, and you've done it so many times, and that happened. Obviously, it's probably a freak accident, but just a crazy game all around. Then, on the playing side, the huge error by Hosmer, And boy, did Fox have that Buckner clip ready.
Yeah,
Picked it out before the ball was even through his legs. And it was actually a really tough play for Hosmer.
It was.
Really tough pick. But he's one of those guys that'll beat himself like up for hours over it.
Oh, yeah.
He's a crazy dude.
The analyst, put it perfectly. He didn't play the ball correctly.
No, he should have gotten in front of it.
Tough play.
Should have gotten in front of it.
Yeah, he should have not tried to play it off a short hop. But regardless, a very tough play. And then definitely made up for it.
Yeah, he did. I said that from the beginning. It's like this is going to be his, redemption. He actually struck out the 2 times before that, I believe. Right after the error, he struck out 2 times, then hit the sac fly. And then David Wright makes an error later in the game. And I mean, that's the game of baseball. He's going to hop. Both of them are going to jump back. You saw Hosmer already do it. Wright will jump back tonight. You have Jacob deGrom versus Johnny Cueto tonight. So they got the 2 aces for both teams in Kansas City. Mets really need to take one. They can't really rely on going home and evening it up. I mean, I do think that home field advantage is a true thing in New York. The Mets as a team, Citi Field, the entire stigma around the Mets organization is huge for this game. So, really looking forward to seeing this game tonight and seeing them go back to New York. So that's going to be awesome. A weekend series in New York versus Kansas City. If Kansas City has a 2-0 lead, obviously that's going to be energized, but a 1-1, it's almost like starting over again in New York. So Mets really need it. I think this is a key game for them. If they don't get it, it's going to be a long climb back. Not saying they can't do it, just saying it's going to be a long climb back.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, they got a good guy on the hill to start with tonight. I think, Jacob deGrom. I mean, I do remember for a short time it had came out that the starting rotation was going to start with deGrom and Harvey was going to be saved for the third game. And then that was scrubbed and switched very quickly. Yeah. But the thing is, they've got quite a few guys who could be number ones.
Oh, my goodness. The Mets, let me tell you, the Mets are the picture-perfect blueprint organization for building through your system.
Absolutely.
If I'm not mistaken, I mean, if we could go through almost every player on that roster, and based on the starters, you'd be surprised how many are straight from the organization. Darno was one who was traded for. Same with Syndergaard from the, I think it's the Blue Jays. They were traded, but still in the farm system. I count like still in the farm system as in, yeah. So Darno, Duda, Murphy.
I'm pretty sure everybody in that rotation save Bartolo
and then,
started.
Yes, every single one in the rotation is the Mets farm system type. When they got MLB brought up as a rookie, correct. So the only ones that are they're Granderson and Cespedes that actually start. I mean, that's crazy. And the Royals, they have a similar blueprint. They're starting to go away from it, where they're starting to actually get big name guys in here because they're becoming relevant again. Right. So they're 2 very ingrown teams. You have Hosmer and Moustakas and Gordon and all those guys. Hochevar and Perez all come through the system. It's not something you see like when the Yankees are in there, where it's like or the Dodgers, for example, where it's more of a bought like franchise. So it's a very cool series overall, and I'm really looking forward to it. I think every game's going to be competitive. There's not going to be a blowout in any sort of fashion. You saw how good the Royals are this year. The Mets, in the same respect, sweeping the Cubs. So
it's just amazing to see. Nobody would have thought 5 years ago.
No,
that these 2 teams would be.
If you think about it, I consider my baseball prime 7th grade ish, like 8th grade. Not my playing ability, but that's still growing. Oh yeah. But as in my knowledge capacity, like when I think of the Royals, I think of that like when I was in 7th grade, like knowing all the players. Yeah, of course. But like I was one of those guys that I could like almost name every player on every team because I was obsessed in MLB The Show and baseball cards and everything. But that's the Royals I think of, like Coco Crisp and David DeJesus and pretty, just run-of-the-mill MLB guys that never really did anything. Well, I don't want to say that, but never really were the makings of a World Series team like we're seeing here. So it's crazy to think of these organizations as the best in baseball right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you said, it's a testament to building through your farm system and you being a fan of the Yankees, me being a fan of the Red Sox. I've been thinking through this series and through these playoff runs is, my God, they're not teams that you're going to see tank for, a long period of time.
They're
the Yankees
built,
are never going to tank for 5 years. The Red Sox are never going to tank for 5 years. But I mean, the way these teams have built, it's almost like why not? I mean, the Red Sox and Yankees both have some good farm systems.
Yeah, we just trade all
Right.
of ours away.
So,
Yankees. I'm not saying the Red Sox do that, but to a degree.
I mean, you're starting to see more kids come up from that farm system, especially this year.
Yeah.
Towards the end.
Sometimes
of the year.
you need those bad years. I think the Yankees are starting where they've been hitting them over the past couple. We really haven't made a strong run from a Yankees perspective.
No.
Since like 2000, maybe like since 09's when we won, but maybe like 2011-ish. So it's been a while, and you can see that like you can build that perfect team for 1 year, but one injury to one, or maybe you get somebody who's a little past his prime, or you get him for 1 year in his prime, they start going down. So the Yankees are starting to go back to their roots a little bit with people like Greg Bird and Rob Refsnyder, first and second baseman, that started in that wild card game, and who knows where they're going to go. And the Red Sox have been doing it for years. That's why they won in 2004. It's because of the people they built through their system. It's a key testament to why they were so good. And they're starting to do that again. I think that's the right way to go always. Because once you see their potential, Jackie Bradley Jr. arguably could have been one of the best players in all of baseball in August, based on how hot he was. Or at least, maybe makes, some type of like all monthly team, maybe not the best, but those guys that come through the system and have that fire instead of just going from team to team, these are what these teams are built on. And I guess back to your original question of the Mets starting rotation, every single one of them could be, maybe with the exception of Steven Matz. I'm still not 100% convinced on him, just because he's had an injury-ridden season, / he came up halfway through, but he's been out there. He's been playing, he's been starting, and he'll start game 4 for these guys. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see, how these guys do in such a high-level game. And so far, perfection, maybe you can't say, but it's as close as you can get, and it's pretty amazing.
Really and to that point, aside from the fact, obviously they lost, and that's, that's one thing in of itself, but it wasn't as a causation of this player. It is amazing to me that they had John Neese come in and give them that production. Like,
John Neese,
that's crazy.
On his birthday,
yep. Born the last time the Mets won a World Series. That was a nice little Fox fact for you.
Wow.
But it's just pretty amazing that they could have some guy come in, and he locked it down for 3 innings. He had a great 3 innings. I'm interested to see what it will be like game 4 for the Royals. With his name is escaping me, but having to come in and pitch at the end of the game. Young, I think.
Oh, Young. Oh, because he went so... Yeah.
Because he is the game 4 starter, and he ended up going 4 innings.
Yeah, it's just not... It's not an ideal situation for both teams, and I think... I don't know if one handled it better. I would say if one handled it better, it was the Mets, just because they used less guys. But once they went into extras in the first game, you're doing everything on God's green earth to win that game. And the Mets come out losers, and you look at their bullpen, you say, who do we save? And they actually did a decent job. They really didn't go through that many, Clippard, Neese, Addison Reed, Familia, the one who blew the save, which usually never happens. He's been
red hot.
As hot as can be. So I believe his last blown save was like July 30th, maybe, something crazy. One pitch. I would never have bet it in a million years that Alex Gordon would have went.
At that point.
Absolute bomb to center field.
It really was. It was
off the bat. I was like, fly out. Like, it didn't look that great, but it went.
It was
far.
Dead center and over the wall.
Smoked it.
Yeah, it was something.
So just, craziness. I thought the Mets had it sealed. And look at that. Suddenly Kansas City's up 1-0. Now you got Game 2 tonight and Game 3 on Friday. Game 4 on Saturday. Going to be absolute insanity for the next few days. I guess we'll get into predictions. Who do you think? How many games? Maybe an MVP?
All right. This one's tough. I'm going to go with... Yeah, I'm going to go with the Mets. I'm going to go with the Mets in 7.
Nice.
MVP is tough, though.
It's so... Usually the MVP comes down to, like, a one-game hero or a two-game
I'm going to give it to
stud.
DeGrom. I think
I like
they're
that.
going to turn it around because he's going to shut it down tonight. And then I think he's going to have another shutdown game.
Yeah.
In game 6 it would be, I believe.
Yeah. Yes, he would come back. I've been going back and forth. I have a lot of Mets fans around me, so
yeah, I really have nothing
I've been
behind that.
I've been very swayed, and also I followed this team very closely since I went to. So this is like my background behind the Mets. I'm not a Mets fan at all. I went with my best friends. If they're listening, shout out to you guys. We went to the game Cespedes got signed. So not Cespedes' debut. The day he got signed, we got on the train like 5 minutes after they signed him. That's when we were on the train. It was the game Flores hit the walk-off.
Yeah.
Insanity. It was really cool, and I was actually really jealous because, not to knock Yankee fans, but the Yankees are a nationally traditional touristy team. When you go to the stadium, unless it's a big-time game or you've got a big-time rival coming in or irrelevant, you're not going to see the passion sometimes. It depends where you sit, too, obviously.
Yeah.
But in Citi Field, for example, you're going to a Mets game because you like the Mets. Usually don't go there just to go there. Yeah. So having that game and Wilmer walk off after all this stuff, it was really cool, and I have to give that to the Mets. And that's when they turned it around, was that game. So I attribute a lot of their success to me. And what... you like that?
It slid right in there.
I know, really good. So I've been following him ever since that because my friends are nuts about it, and I want to see them win, obviously. But, I mean, if the Royals win, it's the Royals. Like, you want to see them win, too.
It's good.
I'm closer to the Mets because of the people around me, and I'm more likely to go with them just because of their pitching. Mets hitting isn't that strong. I'll say that straight out. It was, and then it hit its threshold. Someone like Aduda has got to come back and be hotter. He had one good game, I believe, in the NLCS, may have been DS, one of the two, where he just went off and was like all the production. Granderson's someone who's been consistent. He has to keep it up. Wright's going to come back a little bit. He's slowly starting to get back there after a terrible it's either DS or CS.
It's not that they're a great hitting team. They were very hot in the CS as a squad. Not individual players aside from
Murphy. Jeez.
Aside from Murphy,
yeah, who still is hot. Got, I believe, 1 or 2 hits last night at least. Didn't hit a home run, but there's only so much you can expect. Yeah. So, for my prediction, I'm going to go Mets in. I want to go 7-2. I want to say 6, but I feel like if they would have won last night, I would have said 5 or 6. But them losing that game, I feel like puts them back one more, especially if they have to go back to Kansas City. I think they'll go into Kansas City with, so what does it go? It goes 2-3-2.
Is it?
Is it 2-3-2 or 2?
I think it's
2-2-2-1.
2-2-2-1.
So the last game would be in New York.
Last game would be in New York.
Okay, well, regardless, I think if they go into, Kansas City for that last game, or if it's the 2-3-2 that I'm talking about, I think they go into Kansas City.
No, it's 2-3-2, yeah.
2-3-2, so they're going to New York for 3.
Yeah.
I think they will take tonight, take all 3 in New York. So that would mean they win.
4.
Okay, so they'll take 2 in New York, and then they'll go into Kansas City game 6 with the ability to clinch, and they won't do it, and they'll get it 7. That's my prediction.
Yeah, all right, that sounds about right. Win tonight, get 2 in New York. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yes.
I think they're going to win.
Yeah, win tonight.
If I had to pick it, I think win tonight, win the first game in New York.
So win game 3.
Lose game 4, win game 5, lose game 6. I think it's just going to alternate.
I think they'll do...
From there.
I think they'll do... So, win tonight. I think they have to win tonight.
They have to win
It's a huge game. I don't want to say that because it's the Mets, and they, no hole is too deep for them, so they could always, climb out of it. So,
they do need to win tonight.
So I think they'll take Game 3, lose Game 4, take Game 5, lose Game 6. I think they'll go back and forth and take that Game 7. Yeah. I think that's the way that series is going to go. It's both teams are really, really good at what they do. So, Kansas City taking last night, I think, changes mind to a longer series, but could be wrong. Who knows? Oh, who's my MVP? I think it's going to be a position player.
See, it's hard to pick a position player.
It really is, and it could be anyone. But at this point, I'm going to say Granderson. I think he's sneaky in the fact that he gets on a lot.
He does.
He shows up in big-time opportunities. Made a huge catch last night.
He did make a very
Went solo. He's always on base, trying to, he's swiping bases. I think he's going to do something big. Yeah. With the Yankees, he was solid. I liked him a lot. He was one of those guys that went out and he played with a lot of heart every day, so it was sad to see him go. That's why I want to see him get this, and I think he deserves a ring in that respect. He's one of those guys that I don't think he's going to do anything like, oh my God, that guy is a guarantee all-star, but when you look over 7 games, you're like, if he didn't do this in the first game, we're not talking about, tonight, we're not talking about, I don't know. He's not one of those guys that's like out there as like the Mets star. Not a lot of people talk about him. But then again, you got someone who in 2009, Hideki Matsui won the MVP, and he just went off in the World Series. He wasn't the star. He was like our 6th hitter. But he's one of those dudes just, plugs away. So Curtis Granderson, MVP.
There you go. All right. Well, quick update on the game. They are heading into the bottom of the second. 0-0.
It's going to be an absolute duel tonight.
It is. It's going to be exciting. We'll get out of here and watch it later, I'm sure. Do we want to just get right into some NFL?
Why not? Let's do some NFL. College wasn't that exciting this weekend.
College was a down week.
Actually,
do you want to give a... We can just go into some NFL. It's a real exciting week coming up in college football. A lot of good games.
We could always recap it. Yeah, we'll recap it next week. It's no big deal. NFL, that's something that it's pretty good this weekend. Obviously, the Giants won. The Patriots also won. So one New York team successful. The other one went down, but we're both happy. So quick recap. A lot of people stayed unbeaten. I don't think any of the unbeaten teams lost. If I'm not mistaken, a couple had byes. But overall,
3 of them had byes.
Yeah, it was
Denver, Kansas City, and not Kansas City.
Green Bay.
Green Bay. Yeah, and one other. Maybe not.
Regardless, starting off with that Seahawks game, I was wrong. I was really wrong. I don't know which team you picked, but I was really wrong.
I thought Seahawks.
I had 49ers going on an offensive explosion, scored 3 points. So we all can't be right all the time. That was just a terrible game for the 49ers. I'm really shocked being home that they didn't put up more, and Kaepernick on the upswing. I guess I was wrong. But then it started getting pretty good. Starting off with a game in England.
It was a fun game. All right, first off, I'm jealous of the West Coast. There is nothing better than waking up to football.
Yeah.
To have it right on, it was awesome. It was nice that it was something you could get online, not have to pay for like everything else, or not have some subscription or anything like that.
Just go to
NFL.com. Could play
it was the Bills and the Jags, but they made it really exciting.
You know what? I thoroughly enjoyed the game. I watched most of it. Had a ride home in the middle of it, but I caught the beginning and the end. The Jags were up big. We're up big. We're up 27-3 at one point. Bills got a couple at the end of the half, brought it closer. It was still 27-13 going in the half. No score in the third, and then the Bills pulled it in very close, had a chance in that one, but obviously don't end up getting the job done. The Jaguars come away and win. Jaguars are 2-5. I feel like the Jags have been in a lot of games.
Yeah.
They
just don't have the leadership to close anything out.
No,
Bortles is a decent quarterback. If you saw the pick he threw this weekend, then you would not agree with that statement.
No,
but I mean, he is, out of all the people that are young quarterbacks, he has one of the most like upside potentials of all of them. Yeah. Doesn't have a lot of people around him. Allen Robinson's their best receiver. Doesn't really have a running back. It's a tough situation for everybody in Jacksonville country. But they had a lot of support in London. Did you see that? It was actually crazy. Well, Jaguars are a fun team to like. They've got really cool colors. It's a Jaguar. I mean, if you're in London, you don't know anything about football. You're going to pick the Jaguars.
Absolutely, yeah.
So.
They're a likable team. I mean, a pitiable team in America, but they're likable.
But they're likable.
I guess all the same.
Exactly.
And bigger than them winning that game, which honestly, all right, I'm sorry, I feel bad for England. We talked a little bit about this at one point, but I just feel bad for England. Just throw them a bone and give them a good game. Like, I get that you're throwing away potential. They would never do it.
A good
like
game,
you'll never
ever.
see like a Broncos Patriots game over there.
Could you imagine?
Like, they just
Such
won't
a win.
happen. But I mean, this turned out to be a
I
good
think
game.
they love
was
it
a
though.
close
I don't know.
game.
I think they love it.
I don't think they care who's
yeah.
playing. I think you're going to draw
If you're
either
playing
way.
some American football, London's going to go nuts about it.
Absolutely. But so, I mean, more so than it's a good win for the Jags, because the Jags aren't going anywhere. I mean, that's just...
You never know in that division.
I mean,
Lord have mercy in that division.
Yeah, that's true. That is the worst
division.
division.
Is it wrong of me? You can back it up with some factual statements. Are they 1 game out? 2 games out?
I think so.
I think they're one game out. Because what are the Colts, 3-3?
Let's see. AFC South. Indianapolis Colts are 3-4. Texans and Jags are 2-5.
They're 1
Titans
game
are
out.
1-5. Yeah, I mean,
they're there.
It's a wide
they
open
could
division.
win.
That is the NFC South.
Let me tell
last
you,
year.
that is one of the most disgusting things that I've ever seen is that division right there. And
it's a shame with how bad the Colts are this year that they are still going to walk away with that division. I mean, you give it a look, but
they are because they have the best quarterback out of all those teams.
Yeah.
The Texans don't have a quarterback.
No.
The Jags have a very inexperienced quarterback, and the Titans have one of the most inexperienced quarterbacks. Not a bad one, but just at a pure young age, 22 years old, it's tough to lead a team.
More frustrating than the fact that Jacksonville's a game out is that the Texans are a game out.
I think
that defense, they've had 40-plus points dropped on them twice now. Was it 2 weeks in a row, I believe?
It's my fantasy defense right there.
Wow.
Yeah, I got to change that.
That's ugly.
Well, I mean, if you watch Hard Knocks...
Oh, if you watch...
it's ridiculous. I was really into Hard Knocks, and I was like, this defense. Like, look at their front. I don't understand.
Well, I mean,
Jadeveon
Vince
Clowney,
has stunk.
Vince
Wilfork, bust thus far.
and J.J. Watt. How do you not stop every single person in the country that runs the ball up the middle?
I don't know.
I don't understand. Like, on paper, they're filthy.
Yeah,
they're
absolutely.
really good.
But give them a paper trophy because they're not going anywhere.
They are so bad.
They're atrocious.
Ryan Mallett. Can we talk about Ryan Mallett? I kind of want to.
Yeah.
He's fine. Great. So on great. Hard Knocks, do you watch Hard Knocks?
I don't follow it. I watch.
Do you know that Ryan Mallett showed up late or didn't show to practice? Okay. Yes. Well, that's one of the backstories. I love that because in Hard Knocks, just basically for anyone who didn't know, Hard Knocks followed the Texans. There was a huge quarterback battle, and by quarterback battle, I mean like who's slightly better,
who's less sucky.
Yeah, who honestly sucks worse or best, who
sucks
less. Yeah, I think you said it, and I can't even say it. Brian Hoyer, Ryan Mallett, both pretty atrocious in everything that they do. Tom Savage is behind them, by the way. The pick product.
The pick guy?
That guy should play. That guy should play.
Bad.
He's actually decent, and he was fun to watch in Hard Knocks. Yeah. So, you've got Mallett versus Hoyer. Hoyer gets it originally, and there were rumors like Bill O'Brien didn't say who got it officially, but there were rumors in the media, and Mallett was like, getting upset, and he's like, visibly upset in the sidelines, and they started one preseason game with like Hoyer over him, and he just doesn't show up to practice the next day. And the GM's like, what's going on? I called him a million times. He's like, comes the next day. He's like, I'm so sorry. My alarm clock didn't go off. Okay. Like,
it's
yeah,
not
sure.
A 21st
sure.
Century
That's what happened. He just like, just woke up and was like, nope, what are you going to do? Like, I have no idea. Then it comes out that after Hoyer started, he got the job back, like game 3, then was so bad that they gave it back to Hoyer. So they're just, that's tough. That's just a brutal situation down there. He got hurt, too. Yeah, he got hurt, and Hoyer came back in, and, who knows what happened with Ryan Mallett. But then he misses the team plane because of traffic.
Yeah. So
he was probably, in an Uber, and he got lost on the way to the airport or something, and had to fly commercial, probably, in row 47, with a crying baby and like, you know, a mother next to him or something. It was just humorous, you know, looks over and he's like, yeah, I play football. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Like that type of stuff. And then he gets there, doesn't play, whatever. And then they're like, we've had enough of you. Like, how does that story come out and you don't release him like right then? I have no idea.
I don't know.
So Tom Savage, your time to shine.
I mean,
the Texans are a joke.
The Texans are a joke. It's incredible. You know what it is? It's like they are expatriates. They got Bill O'Brien. They got Romeo Crennel, correct? Romeo Crennel's running that defense. They got
the linebacker coach, Frable. Is it Frable?
Frable, yes.
Yeah,
Frable's their linebacker
Frable's
coach.
your linebacker coach. He's
They
nuts.
got Vincey. They got Ryan and Brian, who are both TB12 understudies. Like, what's going on? And you know what I don't understand? How did Mallett survive in New England? This is the team that Reggie Wayne, the 15-year veteran, didn't sign with because he didn't like the attitude, thought it was too tough, and Ryan Mallett was here
one of the
for
most
like
lax
5
guys
years,
ever,
and then
just like stayed behind Brady. There was no problem. I don't know. I don't know.
You know, my only thought is that he just went off the wire when he lost his spot to Jimmy. Like, that's the only thing I can think of that he was like, wow, I just got.
I mean, he could have been a different guy. Who knows? But I honestly, I didn't even think about that.
He's
There's
Charmin
no
soft.
way that dude. There's no Banana Land. There's no way that dude survived. It's Banana Land that dude survived in New England. Like, it's crazy.
It is unfathomable.
He misses
I don't
a
understand.
flight, and like his alarm clock doesn't go off, and I mean everything. Then that's probably just 2 out of a million stories that don't get released.
No,
the dude,
it's
he
true.
just
It's the Hard Knocks
crazy
curse,
dude.
man.
Yeah,
I just don't understand it because there are so many guys, and not to be like a pompous Pats fan, but there are so many guys who came up in the Pats organization. Billy O'Brien was with the Pats for a long time. It's a rigid organization by all accounts.
Oh, yeah.
How do you? And then they're like the most dysfunctional team in the league right now. Maybe
nope.
Eagles, Chiefs, maybe somewhere like that.
Eagles because they have more press. That's the only reason,
Yeah,
really.
but
yes,
they're really a dysfunctional team.
they're
and
atrocious.
don't have anything together at all, and they're giving up 40 points a game.
Yeah, it's really bad.
terrible.
And they have DeAndre Hopkins. Unfortunately,
Luke.
Arian Foster goes down for the season.
Unfortunately for my fantasy
That's
team.
and for him too.
But my fantasy
yeah,
team.
But we got to think about the important stuff.
Yeah, come on now.
Fantasy. And it's really that dude's just such a tough
it's too
career.
bad.
He actually had an amazing story behind him. Being like it wasn't a walk on, but it was just like basically not. He didn't. I know he didn't get drafted. Yeah, he was a nobody. He didn't get drafted. Just signed. Became one of the best NFL running backs, and now it's kind of like a Derrick Rose type curse. Every year he comes back, he gets hurt immediately. Got hurt in training camp. Now he tears his MCL.
He did look very good this year.
Oh,
for
he
the first
did.
Time in a while.
He did, and it's very, very unfortunate. So, and that's a tough break. But DeAndre Hopkins, Cecil Shorts, like they have wide receivers. Obviously, it's tough for them to get the ball to them because they don't have a quarterback. But it's true. You have to have a decent quarterback to do anything in this league, and unfortunately, they don't have that.
What are they going to do? They have not been one to
It's
really
just
draft for quarterbacks.
Yeah.
They've proven, and this year we'll see who. I mean, you've got
Connor
Cook. Who is the USC quarterback? Cody Kessler, and the Utah quarterback Travis Wilson. I mean,
decent class coming out.
Yeah, it is.
Well, depending on how everything else goes, but right now I would say Cook is in the lead.
And
I love Cook.
potentially, but not likely Hackenberg. So
he was he was preseason number 1 or at least summer number 1 draft pick.
Really?
Yep. That's what people came out and said, and I was shocked by that. And then he came out and got sacked a million times by Temple, which has proven to be a really good team, by the way.
That's true.
But
That's
still.
true. Interesting game day call to put that in Philly.
Yeah, just because it's a professional stadium, it doesn't really have the vibe of college game
and they're
day.
not even around the stadium.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Aren't they? Are they at Temple? Are they doing it at Temple?
They're at Independence
They're doing
Hall.
it. Oh, really?
Yeah. It's
I guess that's kind
cool.
of a smart
It's a destination
play.
spot.
Yeah,
but
it's kind of a smart play because people will go there from you get the Villanova students to go down. You get and Pennsylvania's a big college. Pennsylvania's a big state, but Philly's a big college destination area. So maybe they'll just get people to go down there. Like when they went to Harvard last year, I know BC people went over, and so on and so forth. But yeah, interesting call. But then again, JMU was an interesting call. So interesting stuff going on. Next game.
Yeah.
Guess we can start speeding this up. That was a decently long talk about the Jags.
Yeah, really spun out after the Texans.
So I forgot we were talking about.
The AFC South,
Yeah.
basically.
Brutal.
So the Colts are going to walk away and could easily walk away with a losing record.
Imagine the
to win
Jags
division.
taking that.
It's baloney and cheese, but it'll be all right. We'll wreck them again in the playoffs.
Played you pretty tight. Buccaneers, Redskins. Buccaneers jump out 24-0.
Yeah.
I was like, I was mad. Mike Evans was on my bench. I was just steaming because Jameis doesn't throw him the ball. He gets a touchdown and like 100 yards, and I'm just mad. I'm like, Jameis is going off. This is ridiculous. And then Kirk Cousins. You like that?
Kirky baby.
You like that? You like that? Kirk comes out of nowhere and seals the deal for the Redskins. Now in first place in the NFC East with the Gigantes. So, man, what a disgusting division that is too. But
It's really it's
those
ugly.
are the two.
And we talked about this at the very beginning of the season. That the strength of the league just doesn't seem to be there this year.
No, yeah, it's kind of. Maybe we're looking at it differently, but I feel like this is like an outlier year. This is actually nuts.
Really
like I said, every week we look at some games. Sometimes you just don't know.
Pick them.
It's just like 50, like flip a coin type stuff, and especially if it's divisional games. Like a lot of people probably pick the Cowboys beat the Giants, even with Matt Castle.
Absolutely.
And I was one to think like, no way. But then if you look at how the Giants played against the Eagles the week before, I mean, they couldn't beat, a Pop Warner team. So then they came out and three touchdowns by the most random people you could ever select. It was like, pick a name out of your hat for the Giants. It was Orleans Darkwa and what's his name? Will Harris, I think is his name. The guy with the dreads. Dwayne Harris. And then Rogers Cromartie with the pick 6. So,
oh my God, the earliest Selly I have ever seen. He was not close to a guarantee to get in the end zone when he started celebrating.
It was like he caught it, walked 5 feet, and then just started celebrating. I loved it.
Started high stepping
really
it,
funny.
It was
crazy good win for the Giants. But that division, like at the end, I think every game will be split probably. That's how crazy the division is. Everybody will go 1-1. Yeah,
I can see it.
Giants are on their way. They're already 1-1 with one team. You got 2 other games. Just gotta win one, lose one, and knowing the Giants will do that. So they'll probably lose.
Well,
regardless, just crazy game for the Redskins. Good win for them. They really don't have that many people to harp on. The Buccaneers are a brutal team. So huge way. Yeah, that would have been a really bad loss if they lose 24-0. But Kirk Cousins fired up, man. I like Kirk Cousins. I always have. I always liked him more than RG3, to be honest.
I did, yeah.
So
I never thought he was bad, and then there was a period when he was actually bad.
Yeah.
And now it's
there was one period where he was actually really brutal. When he played the Giants this year, he was bad. Really bad.
Quick sidebar on them. Love the unis, but if you're gonna wear the alternates, you got to do something about the face mask. It bothers me that they have like.
I didn't even see it.
I'll show you. They have like the real gold uniforms. I'm sure you've seen.
I've seen the gold uniform because I saw him walking out of the game, and I saw like some of the highlights, but I never saw like a close up of it.
See, so it's a different color maroon.
And
it just doesn't match the helmet.
Yeah, that makes
at all.
Zero sense.
It's a much darker maroon.
Change the helmet.
Yeah, you gotta change it. You gotta have an alternate helmet. You can't be wearing that uniform with the regular helmet. It's a different color maroon.
Just not
and it's
right.
Yellow versus gold.
Not right.
Not
Washington.
right.
They don't do a lot right down there.
God. DMV area in shambles.
So.
All right, Falcons.
Falcons and
their
Titans.
First loss. Got played tight by the Titans. Another bad team who seems to be in every game.
Yeah.
Mariota-less Titans.
Exactly. Mettenberger gets the start. Yeah,
I could never believe. We talked about this last year. I can't wrap my head around it that he's an NFL quarterback. He never was a starter at LSU. He split time with I can't remember the guy's name, Julius something, but my God. But hey,
hey, he did stick in the game.
6-1 Falcons a fight.
Crazy. It's crazy. Like we said, every week you never know. But I mean, Falcons being the offensive explosion team they are, 10 points and holding the Titans to 7. So
You know what?
it's a big win for them.
Still got me 116 yards. So
Dude's always trucking.
it's fine. He's crazy.
He's really good.
He is really good.
Real deal.
Saints Colts. Who picked this one?
I picked the Colts.
Ooh.
I picked the Colts to bounce back. You picked the
I
Saints.
picked the Saints.
You set that up.
I did.
yeah.
I did.
That's all right. I did pick the Colts to bounce back, and it looked like they would at some points, but end of the game just did not go their way.
Yeah.
End of the game. The whole game just didn't go
T.Y.
their
had a
way.
hell of a game, though.
Yeah, he did.
150 yards, two
Andrew
touchdowns.
Luck went off this game a little bit.
A little bit.
I'm pretty sure he had over 300 yards.
333 with
that's a good game for Andrew
No, it
Luck.
is.
That's
It is
a good game for an NFL quarterback. Just not enough to get a win over the Saints.
They just don't have a defense.
Yeah,
The
that's
defense is not
a
there
huge
as much
issue
as
for
they
them.
like to think. They just don't have a defense.
So,
All right, Vikings.
yeah, not much to talk about in that game, but Vikings, we
Looking
both picked
quite
them.
strong.
Yeah, Lions, one of the worst teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
Just they're back to that 0-18 season type vibe. 0-16. Yeah. Just brutal game for the Lions.
All right. Another one. Steelers, Chiefs.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Chiefs?
I don't know
Like,
how.
It makes zero. I'm the one who always Kansas City's got that atmosphere, and then last week I was like, they're so bad. There's no way.
And then they did. They pulled it out. Steelers dropped to 4-3. Roethlisberger looking potentially to get back this week, though. So,
But trivia question, and you probably know the answer. You know where I'm going with this. If Mike Vick goes down,
yep.
who's in there?
If Mike Vick goes down,
If Mike Vick gets hurt, who starts?
the guy who started this week and not Tyler Murphy.
But Tyler Murphy is now number 2 on the depth chart, so
Yeah, but Mike Vick is out. That's why he's.
exactly.
So if Mike Vick goes down, the guy who started this week starts.
But I'm saying who jumps to number 2 on the depth. It's not really.
You didn't say who jumps number 2.
What
You
did I
said who
say?
starts. If Mike Vick goes down, who starts?
Well, once this guy goes through this
Tyler
terrible
Murphy,
week again,
ex-BC quarterback, is the second string quarterback currently of.
I
the
can't really
Pittsburgh Steelers.
phrase my words well. This is probably bad for the
Phrase your
industry.
words well.
This is probably bad for the industry I'm trying to enter. Regardless, what I was trying to say is because what did I say? If because Mike Vick went down, who jumped to number 2 on the depth chart?
Yes.
And the answer is
Well,
Tyler
I'm
Murphy.
Yes.
But I didn't say that. I said if Mike Vick goes down, who jumps into
Landry
the starting
Jones
role?
started.
Yeah,
Landry
that's not
Jones
true.
is Oklahoma, correct?
I have no idea.
Find that out.
Aye,
believe
that's- yeah.
He is. I just remember him because he
Oh yeah.
he was Oklahoma. He was
Oh, I
there when they
remember
had
that
the
dude.
bulldozer.
Yeah. No, I remember that dude. Yes, he did.
Oh man. All right. Let's keep going.
Let's just forget that game ever happened.
Yeah.
I just wanted to talk about Tyler Murphy, and I can't phrase
Pittsburgh
it
lost.
correctly.
All right, Pittsburgh lost.
Brutal.
Pittsburgh needs to be sure not to dig themselves into a hole so
They're
that
starting to
when
get
Ben
there.
does come back, it's not salvageable. They are a team that very, very easily could have the number 2 seed in a bye if anything happens with the Broncos, who are not the real deal defense, but, put them up against a healthy Steelers team, or the Patriots, or any high-powered offense. It would be an interesting game.
Speaking of real deal, Todd Gurley.
Todd Gurley. Great transition, great athlete.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah, he's playing really well.
Yeah.
The Rams playing well. 2-1 at home now.
My roommate, I bring this up every week, has been trying to convince me since week 1 that Todd Gurley is going to be the best running back in the NFL. And I keep saying no, and I'm still saying no. He's not there yet.
He's not
but
there yet.
He has broken a lot of records in 3 weeks, and he has gone off.
darn good.
And he's the runs he breaks off and the yards after contact. I mean, for someone coming off ACL, correct?
Yes.
ACL.
Correct.
Coming off ACL injury, the mobility and
The cuts.
the agility, the cuts that he has.
No hesitation
Yeah.
on him. No
So
hesitation.
it's very interesting to see.
Yeah.
Obviously, people are forgetting he even had an ACL issue. So, I mean, Rams, not exactly a daunting team in my
but they're
opinion.
starting to look
But
good.
hey,
The
give them a
problem
little
is they're in
time.
the Cards division.
Yeah.
They're in the Cards division, and you have the 6-0 Panthers and the 6-1 Atlanta Falcons in the same division.
Yeah.
And
Luckily
then
for
4-2,
them,
yeah, it's just tough.
luckily for them, they're in a division. In my opinion, I think the NFC is a weak division this year as a whole, where they could, like a Rams team that is 500 at the moment. I mean, this is so early, but I'm just saying, could sneak in to a wild card like spot. And this is saying that the Seahawks continue on their trend, and that Carolina and Saints who were back to back in the
Carolina and Falcons.
Falcons, thank you. So that's saying that the Saints don't hop up and those three don't vie for a spot. Only one NFC East team's getting in. That's obvious. So that's I think that the Vikings will eventually spin off. Yeah. But then again, they're in a division with the Lions and the Bears, who couldn't beat anyone. So I don't know. Yeah. It's really interesting because there's so many weak teams on that side that you look at the Rams and you're thinking they could easily grab a wild card spot right now, but you don't know where the year's going to go. But I would say keep an eye out for the Rams.
Absolutely, I agree with you. All right, we'll crank it into high gear a little bit here, get you through the rest of the games from this week, and then we'll make our picks. Dolphins blew out the Texans. We're up 41-0 at the half. Only put up 3 in the second half with a series of backups and really just taking their foot off the gas pedal. Finished 44-26. Pats let it come close. They had control of the game.
Good game.
And I was thinking, I always think during different points of the Pats game, I get angry. Absolutely. The drops were tough this week. It was just bad drops. I'll cut LaFell some slack. He has not been on the field in 6 weeks. Yeah. I didn't mind. My family was going nuts. It's tough to watch some of my family. They're really, not forgiving at all. Really still hate McCourty from the time when he was a cornerback when he should have been a safety all along. Now he's one of the best safeties in the league. But
it's called passion, Quinn. It's called
passion.
Learn about it.
Forgiveness.
Learn about it.
So I was getting frustrated, but I don't remember. At least not this season. There has not been a time where I haven't felt like we had it in hand, even when we're losing. I think it'll be different if we start losing to a team like the Broncos or something like that. Then I'll start feeling like we're a little bit have a lack of control of the situation.
Mm-hmm. Jets are a good team, though.
Jets are a good team. They're legit.
They BC'd that last 2 minutes, but hey, they did. They were all right.
They did.
They were all right.
Raiders took a big win over the Chargers.
Chargers again just make zero sense. Look at Phillip Rivers' stat line. What?
I just don't understand.
We talk about this every week. I told you I wanted to pick the Raiders, but against my better judgment, I did pick the Chargers. So it was a rough decision on that part. Yeah. Derek Carr, quality week. Amari Cooper is the real deal. I say it every week. AC/DC, watch out for it. They're growing. They're getting older. They're
with each day.
Yeah, that's right. And they're getting more experience. So big win for the Raiders. Chargers just going down the tube, man. It's just rough.
Yeah, it is. I don't understand it. But yeah, Raiders, they're not legit. All right, Giants get a big win over the Cowboys.
We kind of talked about it, but a huge win. Obviously, the Cowboys are very injury-ridden. They've got a lot of problems internally, too, so it's good to see that if you're a Giants fan. But Giants just signed JPP, scheduled to come back against the Patriots, kind of, but I don't know. I'm not too thrilled about that just because it's such a risk. It really is.
It takes a lot to get his motor going. He just does not care about football, I feel like.
Yeah. he was when he was younger.
When he was younger, he was
I feel like he's getting to the point where it's a little
talented young defensive
then again, he was
end.
coming out of USF. Like, he had a lot to prove. So
yeah.
I was shocked when we drafted him. I was just like, who's this guy? Like, I don't know anything about him. And then I was one of his biggest fans. And now I just don't. I don't know. He's not doing it for me anymore.
He established himself.
He's not. He's just not. He doesn't have that.
He doesn't have that
quality
fourth
player.
and fifth digit. He just doesn't have it. All right. Panthers, Eagles. I thought this was going to be the turnaround game for the Eagles. My boy Steve Mackley and AK were looking for something to get amped up about with the Eagles.
Yep.
Panthers took care of business, made it the next 6-0 team.
Panthers are starting to look like the real deal if they didn't already. But
yeah,
there's one of those. Luke Kuechly and that defense. That I like that defense a lot.
It's a good team.
I like their linebacker core.
I'll tell you what, the defense I like better than the Panthers, though. Arizona Cardinals, one of the filthiest secondaries, making a run at the Legion of Boom. I would say they are a good secondary. They're a good young secondary. I think Honey Badger's a steal. He's fantastic.
He's just an electric guy.
My favorite college player
of
all time.
He's a fun guy to watch. He really is, and he's a fun guy on and off the field. He's just a fun dude to follow.
He is.
He's a wild card. He's like a Johnny Manziel type, except nobody really hates him, to be honest.
No, it's true.
Yeah, I feel like that's the difference between the two. But he's just like one of those dudes. Just like he tries to be like that guy that you want to be, but you don't want to be because you have morals type thing. But like he's awesome. I'm just saying he's awesome in that respect.
I love him.
Yeah,
I absolutely love him, and I love that the Ravens are 1-6. It's a good day for a Pats fan.
That's right.
When the Ravens are 1-6 are nearly eliminated. The other undefeated team that was on a bye this week, the Bengals. I don't think they are the real deal. But
Andy
we'll
Dalton,
get to them.
Andy Dalton.
Also, so to start off our pick'em, I just want to pull up a little stat that I've noticed on my ESPN sidebar here. Packers and Broncos are playing each other this week. It's only happened 4 times in history that it's been a matchup of two teams 6-0. Patriots beat the Colts in 2007. Vikings beat the Rams in 1973. And then you go back to 1921 when Akron and Buffalo ended in a draw. So I just thought I'd throw that out there. It caught my eye while I was going through. ESPN, man, you do you.
Probably played in a literal dust bowl back then. So yeah, rough situation back in the 20s.
All right, Pats have the Thursday night game. We really got to go rapid fire for these picks.
Oh please, we got the 4 minutes. Come on, we talked about every team, so we don't need any justification.
That's true. Absolutely. Don't need any justification.
No justification. But here's some justification. It's going to be rainy tomorrow, and dolphins swim. So, no, I'm just kidding.
You were gonna.
No, dolphins are on the upswing though. I love their coach. He's he's kind of like a head case. Well,
I agree. They're not bad. They
rip off my headset. Your sarcasm.
Look, Tannehill's good. Tannehill had a fantastic game against the lowly Texans, though.
Yeah.
Not going to do it against the Pats.
Pats at home, yeah. I can't go against them. I think
Thursday night, I'm psyched up. I'm ready for tomorrow. You coming over for dinner, Teach?
Oh, God.
On the spot? No.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Probably, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, probably.
Look at that. I hope you're listening, Mom. Another at the dinner table. All right. Sunday, November 1st, the third of 5 London games. In this one, don't sleep on the Chiefs and the Lions.
Yeah.
Look how London.
Maybe you send the Lions to London. They turn it all around. This is honestly you want to talk about you want to talk about like a coin flip game. Like last year, this is a good matchup. This is a good matchup.
No, it was. They were both
Lions,
pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, this is literally 50-50.
It really is.
I honestly have no idea how these teams are going to come out.
No, it's true.
I have no idea. I legitimately have no idea, and I'm going to go with the Lions.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
Okay, great. That's the way 50-50 works.
Yeah,
I like
there you go. All right, Bucks and Falcons. It'll be the only time BC will beat FSU in our career, I think. No, hopefully next year.
Metaphorically passes out.
Falcons are going to take it over the Bucks.
Yeah, no, Jameis annoys me.
I love the Falcons. I love Matty Ryan.
Oh yeah, how could you not? They're a fun team to be.
They are, and Devontae's. Well, Devontae's at FSU too. So
yeah,
it's like,
so they get the win too.
Well, yeah.
Falcons.
All right, Cards and Browns.
Cards too hot. Please start Johnny Manziel. I believe they are now. Is that true? Are they starting Johnny now? I heard there was a rumor that Johnny's going to start now. So maybe that changes my opinion. But no, Cards too good right now.
You know, I just love Carson Palmer. You know, I love him.
He's one of those guys.
He's a good guy. His interview,
quality country dude.
I don't know if you saw it. His interview after the Monday night game was spectacular. They had him on field. It was just very honest. He was talking about
good dude.
You know how they run a system that a young quarterback couldn't be in. It was not cocky, but it was confident and
it's showing
truthful.
On the field. Chris
I loved
Johnson.
it. Yeah, and you know I'm all on Carson's bandwagon right now. I will go Cards as well. 1 p.m. 49ers Rams.
I'm all on that St. Louis bandwagon. Give it to me, girly.
Mm-hmm.
Rams.
Yeah, I'll go with the Rams too. Giants and Saints.
This is such a trap for the Giants. We'll probably lose by 35, but you know me. Giants all the way, baby.
I'll give it to the Gigantes
2 for 2
as well.
Yeah. Wow, I like that.
Going to the Mercedes-Benz Superdome and making it rain.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
All right, Vikings and Bears.
Bears, too bad. Vikings. Teddy
I thought you were
Bridgewater.
just Bears.
No,
like
Bears,
definitely.
too bad.
No,
too
I'm gonna
bad.
go with the Vikings
Brutal
as well.
Bears.
Not as much dissension in the booth this week. Chargers and Ravens.
This is probably where we'll differ. I keep picking the Chargers. This may be a week that they jump off, but Ravens at home. I feel it. Ravens at home.
I'm gonna go with the Chargers.
I knew you were gonna pick
the
that.
Ravens. Yeah,
I
that was
know.
a good call. Bengals and Steelers. This is an underrated match. If Big Ben is back, look
it's
out.
a
It's gonna be a heck
huge
of a game.
asterisk on this one. Obviously, if Big Ben comes back, if not, it's going all the way to what's his name? Landry Jones. Or you said what's his name?
Landry Jones. Yeah.
Landry Jones. Yeah, it's going all the way to Tyler Murphy. So. If Tyler Murphy starts, guarantee Steelers. No, I'm going with the Bengals. I'm actually a big believer in the Bengals this year. Maybe it's wrong of me to say. Maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid on that one, but I think the Bengals will get it.
I think the Bengals are going to win this game too.
Even
if Big Ben's back, it's going to be his first game back. It's tough that the Steelers are going to slide to 4-4. They were the second in command of the AFC to begin with, but I'm going to go with the Bengals as well. Titans Texans.
Too much going on with the Texans. I think the Titans will come in and take one. Texans they're just rough all around. 2 touchdowns I think gets a win. That's where I'm sitting at.
Yeah, Mariota limited in practice today, but looking to get back for the game. I'm going to go Titans as well. 4:00 game. Jets Raiders. Tough
This
point
is
in time
another
for
tough
the Raiders.
one. Yeah, it is a tough point in time
because. I like the Jets here. I think they're not going to come out.
I don't think they'll lose 2 weeks in a row, especially, with a little extra fire from that Pats game. So I'm going to take the Jets too.
Interesting though, the line is only at 1 in favor of the Jets.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, a lot of people are believers in AC/DC, I tell you.
Absolutely, that's true. All right, Seahawks Cowboys.
Seahawks.
Yeah, man, that's tough.
You can't really pick Matt Castle.
No, you can't. All right, Sunday night game. Big game, Packers-Broncos. Mentioned this one earlier. 6-0 versus 6-0.
Let me tell you, this is a tough one. It's really tough to play in Denver. It's really tough to get a win in Denver. If anybody can do it, it's Aaron Rodgers. I think a bye week, actually for both teams, so I can't even say it's going to benefit one or the other. But playing in Green Bay, it hasn't got too cold yet, so the bye really isn't coming into play where you need that extra week. But I think going up there, that thin air, Aaron Rodgers' balls are going to be on point. So Aaron Rodgers and the Packers.
I'm going to go with the Packers as well. I think the defense is the real deal for Denver, and I don't think Packers have a great offense. But like I said, I don't think Packers have a great defense. Excuse me. Packers have a great offense that's going to get it done against the defense because of how poor the Broncos' offense is. I just don't understand, where is all the pronunciation of Peyton being dead that we saw for Tom last year? I just don't get it. I mean, obviously they're 6-0 and we were 2-2. But I'll just take you back to that fateful night in Duchesne 2 West when this guy said we were going to the Super Bowl and winning it. Colts
off
Panthers
the record,
Monday
of
night.
course, yeah.
Off the record, I've got so many witnesses in there that'll attest to you. I've got an RA who came in and reprimanded me.
Written up.
Monday night game.
Colts Panthers. Come on, man. It's got to be the Panthers.
Oh, great! It's a good week.
Yeah.
Panthers are gonna take it.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
I think we agreed on almost every single one.
Almost every one.
I think 2 we dissented on. Yep. So got a lot going for us this week. It's going to be another solid NFL week. Our predictions are not 100% true, but who knows? Who knows where they're going to go? So, like we said, NFL always flip-floppy. Boston College hockey Friday night taking on number 5 Denver. 4 versus 5 going to be nuts. Hopefully we pack the house. I mean, if we don't, come on. We got to pack the house for this one. I think it's going to be nuts. Really looking forward to that game. And then Saturday we take on Virginia Tech football. It's going to be another good game. Our defense keeps us in every game. Looking on the positive side of sports and BC Athletics this year, they've got nothing to play for now but themselves. And to show up this, latter half of the season. Basketball did last year. If you notice, the basketball team, terrible in the ACC to start the year. Didn't win a game up until right till they got to the end, and they took 3 in a row in the ACC. So here's to going the same for football. Believe in yourselves, guys. I think we got this, John Fadul.
They're not technically out.
That is true. John Fadul going to lead them to the bowl. Thank you guys for listening. I'm TJ Hartnett.
I'm Quinn Kelly.
Thank you so much. We'll be back next Wednesday, 8 to 9.
Matt Ryan, 21 of 24, 286 yards, 3 touchdowns. Still a dude.
Better than this. Guys being dudes. Matt Ryan, that's a dude. Heisman Trophy. Bronco Nagurski Award. Ultimate dude. Raji on my left. Herzlich on my right. 2 dudes. O-line you, bunch of dudes. Dudes to the right, dudes to the left, stuck in the middle with you.
WZBC, the Boston College Radio Network, the voice of the Eagles.